And it is time for the last round of Swiss here in Zagreb. From
You're back on
256.
stream.
Yep, from 256 players, we have 2 undefeated. We have Teach. We already saw Yura piloting it. Up against Kalgara, played by. I'm afraid I don't know how to pronounce his name. SSL. I'll just say SSL to not butcher the pronunciation. Honestly, this matchup might end up very lopsided. I'm not sure what SSL's list is, but I think the Tuko Shirahoshi presents a really big problem for Teach, and just the relentless swarm. But we will see how it goes.
Yeah, that Tuka Shirahoshi is just a brutal card to deal with. It's one of those things like the 7 cost, not like 7 cost. I'm trying to remember. There's another card that's summoned to it that it also protects itself, which makes it really tricky. Oh, it's the Crocodile and Mihawk. It's just against these sorts of black decks, those sorts of extra protection cards are just really difficult to deal with.
And you don't even have to discard; it's just completely free. But it does appear that Yura got the choice of the curve, because I'm pretty sure both sides want to go second. Kalgara to deploy his like generally better second curve, and obviously Teach to establish Dokyu into Augur. Actually, I'm beginning to doubt myself. I'm not 100% sure how this pans out. I can't say I have tested the Teach against Kalgara matchup.
Yeah, Karagara, not a deck that we see very often, but that is definitely an advantage in some of these matchups where you just don't know exactly what's going to come out. But still, Karagara is a deck that has gotten lots of buffs. Does still revolve around this 1-cost upper yard, being able to move it around your deck. It's a very unique stage searcher, and just being able to use this, being able to bottom it with Wiper for another search. This deck just goes around very, very quickly and has a very aggressive game speed as well, thanks to the leader effect.
Yep, it is. This is one of those matchups where you can tell what the result was by whether the match ended in 10 minutes or like 25 minutes. Because if the match is over extremely quickly, you know the aggro deck won, and if it goes slow, you know it was Teach that probably managed to edge it out.
Yeah, Karagara not very, not like the Zorosanji deck that has really different modes of being able to play at different game speeds. Basically, Karagara's one mode is Go. And a card that has been introduced very recently is that new 5-cost Karagara. And 5-cost Karagara is just really, really good in that deck. He has 2 in his hand right now. So that, with your leader effect, is going to just spawn a bunch of cards onto the field and just draw a ton of cards into hand as well. So
especially the interaction.
Engine.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think you're going to say the interaction with Momburan no Rando because it's named Karagara.
Yeah,
right?
That probably won't come up because it's an on-play, but I wanted to say, because Teach is the deck that likes to take those lives early on, Kalgara just punishes that.
Yeah, especially that 5-cost Karagara, just because it is a sort of static effect. It doesn't get affected by the on-play effects being locked.
So now if you take... Yeah. He gets to reap all the benefit.
There's
a trigger? Oh. I'm pretty sure we saw no cards in Yura's deck last game that would result in a substantial trigger effect. For example, if he had a jet pistol. Yeah, I think that's the only one that he could play that really matters. Here he can take out the Ohm. That is some comfort because Ohm very quickly becomes a 6k attacker in Kalgara as he goes to 2 life of his own volition extremely fast. We see him dump the Burgess and find 2 of the 7-cost Teaches. He already dumped 1 into the trash, so these are the last 2 in his deck. If he doesn't pick one up now, he won't have one for the rest of the game, and that's not the position you want to be in as Teach against an aggro deck. Oh, sorry. That was Lafitte. That art is so similar to the 7-cost Teach. That's my bad. It was... Oh, okay, Orange Samurai showed up in chat. He heard there's a Kalgara on stream, he's like, oh, get me in. I gotta see it.
The first time that we see him in chat, he's here for the Karagara game. Very fittingly. But yeah. Karagara, not really a deck that worries too much about those on-play effects. You do have the nice small benefits like the Ohm on-play, but it's not like Ohm only needs that on-play effect. A lot of times he doesn't even really get it anyways because he sometimes... So just being able to play a 4-cost 6,000 that is going to force Teach to deal with it is going to be quite nice. because that 5-cost Karagara is going to stay on the board, and as Karagara keeps trying to play more and more bodies onto the board, it's going to get harder and harder to deal with them.
Yeah, this is just gonna be brutal because when you think about how the Doffy matchup works against Teach, this is pretty much the same, except it's impossible to starve Calgara. He has so many ways of generating resources. First by taking his own life, and second by static effects such as the 5-cost Calgara. And if you ever give him the on plays, he just pops off with the heals.
Yeah.
And unlike Doffy, there's like not enough non-counter cards in the deck to like catch him lacking and maybe lethal him. Like Calgara always has hand, and now he has two of these.
Yeah, but interestingly, Karagara's effect only activates once.
Oh yeah, because you cannot draw for the rest of the turn. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like he can get 2 draws, or else the card would be completely insane. So even though he has 2 Karagaras on the board, he is only going to get 1 draw.
Calgara player is a ninja, bro. No socials, just pure gameplay. I respect that. I respect that. If he actually doesn't have any like Twitter or he just came out of the shadows to sweep the Swiss, I respect that. And he plays Kuma. He doesn't get the on play, but once again, that on KO effect is present. And especially as Yura used, what you can safely assume is like the only or maybe one half of the copies that the deck runs of Black Hole, that Kuma is, if you ever kill him, he heals. And it's difficult to kill a 7k 6-cost body.
Yeah, it's kind of like Magellan in a way, where it's just a decent stat line that you just really don't want to get rid of, and it makes it very awkward, even if you can't use the on-play effect in this sort of matchup, where Teach is really trying to get rid of the board as best as he can.
Yep. Well, Orange is saying he's in Mexico getting ready to cast their regional, so you guys, if you need content, once we finish Top Cut, there will be Top Cut after the Swiss finishes here in Zagreb, which will also stream. Once that finishes, head over to Orange Samurai stream and check out how things go down in Mexico. I'm sure he doesn't need the promotion from us, though. Like, I think everybody knows Orange.
Yeah, I think the Mexico regional is very big. I think they always have very good stream qualities as well. So it is something that, you know, even the American regionals look up to, the organization. So definitely something to check out. Also, you know, make sure to get all the people who are watching the Sevilla regional to come to here instead, because we have exciting gameplay between Karagara and Teach. Teach trying his best to clear the board. He's going to play that Van Augur. Okay. Oh, okay. Tempest Kick as well. So he will be able to get rid of one of these characters, debating on really what he wants to get rid of.
I think what's tempting him is it's more difficult to get rid of the Kuma later than it is Calgara, but only by margin, because there's nothing that reduces cost by 1 or by 4 in his deck, I believe. So like if he at some point goes for 7-cost Jack, then Augur 7-cost Jack still kills the Kuma the same way it would Calgara, but immediately not giving the heal off of Kuma might just be more important in case he tries to push lethal next turn, because sometimes that's your only option as Teach. You just try and kill. Very unlikely against Calgara's massive hand size.
Yeah. Yeah, Karagara's surprisingly tanky aggro deck. That is something to consider. But still, at the very least, because a lot of the time Teach's minuses are 3s, so if you have a -3 into the 7-cost Teach something, you can still pretty easily get rid of that 6-cost, so it doesn't necessarily need to worry about getting rid of it quite yet to worry about that on KO effect. But I think what he was really considering the turn before is how important that 7k stat line is.
Yeah, with his hand size, I think any swing easily demands too much, but that's just the nature of the matchup. I will just say one thing. I did not want this on the feature match just because it is an interesting deck to see Calgara. I didn't realize it was in the top tables until this last round, but it is against Teach and Blade decks in general. If it's these specific cards, it kind of is a stomp. And I hope to feature Statis, who won the Athens regional last weekend, playing against Skip, Jan Bekamaya, because that seemed also like a very interesting and intense match, and they are actually fighting for Top Cut, and these are 2 players who are guaranteed for Top Cut already anyways. So this might not be the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the most thrilling match in terms of stakes. Like, for both of these players, their mind is already a bit off, you know, they're waiting for the real stakes match in top 16.
Well, if we think about it, this is a show match of what is to come because both these players are guaranteed to be in top. So we may end up seeing them once again.
Okay, so
Karagara just throwing a ton of Karagara.
okay, just to reply to the chat, I saw the messages about Calgara, but I was not. I didn't consider them serious. So like, I saw them, I was like, well, there's no way there's a Calgara. Like, and he was XO, and that's the surprising part. Like, I wouldn't, because people don't take their leaders out immediately on the board as they sit down to play. I would just probably miss him a few times. I was wandering around the top tables, and I cannot see what players are playing until I go there in person. So I think I just missed it once or twice, and I just didn't believe there was a Calgara there. So that may have been my bad.
Yeah, I saw people in chat talking about Karagara as well, but I just assumed that was like people wish that there's a Karagara, not that there actually was a Karagara.
Yeah, that was my impression as well. So, oops.
Yeah, well, hey, next time if you fly me out to Zagreb, then I'll walk around tables with you.
Okay, I'm not sure you're getting a paid full-no trip to Zagreb. That's a bit
it
over
sounds
budget.
like a fun time, though.
It is fun. Not as fun
I've
as
never
Japan,
been
though.
to the. I've never been to the that entire region of Europe, so I can't really comment on that. But
Have you been to Europe before?
I've been to Europe. I haven't really been to the Balkan region.
I think it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Generally,
looks very nice from
way
photos.
more chill than Western Europe usually. But again,
I can picture that.
Oh, I like the confidence in chat. You guys knew we'll have to show him eventually. Well, he's 7-0, so you are right. Now the question is, which funny deck are we going to feature in top 16 first? Let me see if Luca's match is finished.
But still, Teach trying his best though. We can't ignore that this match is still going on. Karagara is completely ignoring the board, even just trying to get as many hits in, make it as cut and dry, quick game as possible into this Teach matchup.
Oh, I love
So,
how cold the SP is for this Kuzan, like insane.
It's very cool, yeah. I really like this SP style. Yeah. Going to play out the Van Augur. Having double Van Augur with that Duckyu is going to make sure that one of those Karagaras fall. But because there are still two characters on Karagara's board against basically nothing relevant on board, at least nothing that Karagara cares about, it is a bit tricky to get to a point where Teach may be able to actually pull back this game. Still though, he is trying his best. He does have that active dome potentially for the Black Vortex, just as a pure minus 4k. See if he'll be able to hold on to this turn though. That one cost Karibu is going to be a good start though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Calgara plays like X-Drake or something to activate main and res the Karibo. But he's in no danger of dying, and he knows it. He knows like the only direction you really care about in this matchup as Calgara is Teach's face, and he's been doing that pretty well.
Yeah, it seems like he's been doing it quite well 7 rounds in a row. And also, the 3 cost extra, you need to be at, I believe, equal or less
true.
life in the opponent. So even if he had that in his hand, he wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, I'm so used to having that card in green, yellow, wall, and in that deck you're always on lower life than your opponent, so it just doesn't cross my mind when talking about other decks.
Yeah, especially for a deck like Karagara, you're basically, even though you are taking your life with effect, you're just hammering all of your hits into the opponent's leader as well, so that sort of card won't end up being relevant. If you were to have a card that could actually rest that Karibe, it would be something like Blaze Slice or Amaru, but I don't think that those sorts of cards are really run.
True, yeah, you don't need them. Like, you don't need that level of extra aggression when your entire deck is aggressive. But what's really interesting about Calgara is that leader, like the full deck before OP 12 cost like maybe €5, and then the Kuma comes out and now it's like €130. So, yeah.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. Using his leader effect, though, going down to 1 life, he still has a massive hand, so being at 1 life or 2 life doesn't make a huge difference. Does actually get that extra draw off of the Karagara as well. So, it's still going to be tricky for Teach to go for lethal in the next turn, but visually this looks a little bit scarier than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, in Calgara, there's so few dead cards in terms of counter that it's... Wait, that was
Yep.
3 1Ks. Oh. I think what
Ooh.
SSL... Why? I don't know. I'm not gonna try. I hope that was good enough. I think he's just saying time to pack it up. He's just gonna force the Boker, force Black Vortex and another swing, and then leave just enough to survive in case Yura is able to attack back with the Augurs. But he doesn't have the power on the board to finish the game anyways.
Yeah, he's forcing a situation where Yura has to go for lethal next turn, but because he has, I mean, it looked like 9 cards in hand, maybe even. It's going to be very difficult for him to finish out the game with basically 3 relevant attacks.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible at this point. I think Yura will just give his, put in an effort for the cameras, but I think he's also well aware of how this is ending.
Yeah, we'll see how he makes the most of the situation. From our point of view, it does not seem possible, but there's always the possibility when you don't know the opponent's hand that they could just be, 9 bricks.
I don't think Calgara runs 9 bricks in the deck. Like, it's 4 upper yards. Is that it? Like, the Kuma has a counter? All the events
yeah,
counter?
Kuma has counter. Yeah, I don't even know if there's... I mean, if you run some of, like, this... no, Karaga doesn't run those.
Yeah, I straight up think
Yeah,
there's not 9 bricks in the deck. Like, especially with 5 don't open.
Yeah. Yeah, and Yura probably understands that that's likely the case as well, so goes for the beat, seeing if there is something in his deck that can pull him out of the situation. Finds the Black Vortex. Likely isn't going to be enough to survive the onslaught of hits that can come out of Karagara, but the Van Augur Duck Hue engine is slowly chipping away at Karagara's board.
Yeah, you're right. If he's playing the 5-cost Viper, that would be... But I'm not sure if they play it anymore. Like, they get... I guess maybe it is one of or two of...
I believe in the first search we saw one, so I think he at the very least runs 1. So...
And maybe he just runs 4. It's 5-7 at the end of the day. I feel like he lost a lot of relevance because now the 5-drop you want to play is always the Calgara, but... I'm not too familiar with Calgara deck building these days, and maybe I should get more familiar because Calgara has been putting up results here and there pretty consistently. Like, he's always the dark horse.
Yeah. Yeah, Karagara's just a pretty solid deck, especially although it seems like maybe SSL doesn't run in his deck. The 2-cost Shirahoshi is just a very good card at defending that massive board that Karagara makes. I'm always sad that Vegapunk can't actually use that 2-cost Shirahoshi because Vegapunk's life is basically always face up. So doesn't get that benefit. But for a deck like Karagara, these aggressive yellow decks are very good with that 2-cost Shirahoshi if you have it.
Yeah, especially because Shirahoshi gets to... Like, the problem is if your life gets stuck face up and you lose the protection effect, but Calgara just draws the life. So it all works out so neatly for Calgara.
Yeah. So though, this game has, I mean, at least in terms of time, gone on for quite a while. Karagara looking to close out the game pretty soon. Could honestly, if he wanted to, try and hold on for another turn, but I don't think he necessarily needs to with only 4 cards left in Yura's hand.
Yeah, with 3 cards, it should be guaranteed just going 9-9-9. Because there's only one blocker. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. At the very least, we know of a Black Vortex. I don't remember if the second one was public information or not. But in any case, Karagara usually should be able to just break through with the attacks that he has on board.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way for Teach to grab cards back from trash. And I don't think he's playing any 3-cost plus 6k events, if they even exist in black.
Yeah. No, I don't think there are. Yeah.
He's thinking an awful lot about this.
Yeah, if he thinks about this for another 15 minutes, he may have a chance.
Yeah.
That's only true in Japan.
Yeah, but he's down in life as well, so it doesn't help
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Drops the 2 cards that are public information, so this last tech is just going to go through. Guaranteed lethal on
And
Teach.
we
SSL is going to be our 8-0 undefeated in Swiss round.
on Calgara. On Calgara.